Recently, I asked myself the question, what makes me log into World of Warcraft? And it made me think, why do other people log into World of Warcraft, right? And at first you think like, oh, you're just going to play WoW, right? You log in to play the game. But what makes you log in? Like, really think about it. And I was looking around the internet of like, what do you love about WoW? What do you hate about WoW? What makes you log into the game? Because so many people play games because they want to have fun. But what makes you have fun in that game? And so I realized in the most recent patch, they added things like void assaults, rituals, abyss angling, and all this stuff. And I asked a community poll and said, are you still engaging with this content? And the vast majority of people either didn't do it or did but didn't continue doing it. And then a small amount are still doing it, right? And it made me realize I didn't really care about this patch that much. And I don't really care about these types of content updates because it just feels like busy work to me, right? They're like, go get this gear, get this stuff, and it's going to get replaced anyway. But I thought to myself, well, a lot of things in World of Warcraft are getting replaced, right? If you go raid or do Mythic Plus or do all these things, you know in the back of your head this gear is going to get replaced at some point, right? So that wasn't really my reason. And I think I figured out that I just didn't really want to do these events because they weren't fun. And I think that's what it boiled down to. And so I started thinking to myself, well, why do I like World of Warcraft? And so number one is the world and the exploration of the world. That is absolutely number one. I would even tie Classic WoW into this category because when you play Classic WoW, it's the 1 to 60 experience that everybody talks about, right? It's all about leveling. It's about starting as a nobody and becoming a somebody, right? You're not even like a superhero or anything. You're somebody. You're a hero in the world now. You've ascended from a nobody to a level 60 that can do stuff like raid and fight big bosses and things. But I would say that in that progress, you're also exploring the world. You're going to these different zones. You feel like you're like, okay, I've completed this zone, and now I go on to the next zone, right? And in that process, you're also experiencing different little stories and lore throughout the world, and you're getting to kind of just experience that world in a very slow pace at times. But I think sometimes that slow pace really is why people enjoy classic World of Warcraft, because it allows you to do the thing of stopping and smelling the flowers, right? And that's also why I enjoy making pointless top 10s and the types of videos that I do, is because I just love the world, man. Like, I love just going to a place like Valley of the Four Winds and just going around and looking at stuff and being like, yo, this is really cool, or, you know, literally anywhere. I love going all over the world and exploring the world of Warcraft. And I think that's the number one thing for me, is whether there's a mediocre patch or a bad patch or a good patch, for me, it all kind of boils down to, I just want to go explore the world. And I think that's a lot of people as well. Now we get to the number 2 point, which I would say is collecting stuff. And I think this is definitely more of a retail thing than a classic WoW thing, because in classic WoW, you know, there's not as much to collect. There's no mounts, there's no pets, there's no transmogs, there's no, you know, all this stuff. And I would argue that retail WoW, this is it. Like, this is actually the main focal point of a lot of people playing retail WoW. I would say it's one of the things that makes me play retail WoW, because I love the mount collection. I mean, I like getting pets and other stuff, but mounts is pretty much my main thing. Even with housing decor, I haven't really worked on my house that much, but I've been collecting decor because I'm like, dude, I might use that decor one day, right? And so I would say the retail WoW experience is currently more focused on just the collection of stuff. And if you look at a lot of the posts people make when patches come out, like this most recent one with the void assaults and the rituals, a lot of people are like, well, I did it to get the stuff and then I didn't play anymore, right? Because it's like a collection thing. Like, I did it to collect the things from the event, and now I've collected them, so I'm not going to waste my time with this stuff because I find it boring or meaningless or there's no reason to do it anymore, right? And so I'm actually kind of intrigued by the fact that WoW doesn't do more events focused around collection, because we had, even last year, I believe it was in June or July, we had that big mount event where they were like, hey, everybody, it's like 5% easier to get mounts, or whatever the thing was, right? 5 times easier, 5%. And so I was honestly playing like constantly. I was like, dude, I can go back to all these old raids and get all this stuff. And it wasn't guaranteed. Like, it was, if you put a lot of the time in, you pretty much were probably going to get some of these mounts. I got a whole bunch of them, but it was never guaranteed. Some I got on like the final day, right? But it was so cool going back and seeing people trying to get these mounts and going to old raids and old dungeons and old areas. And it was cool to see even people just waiting outside places like Wulduar, right? Like the world started coming alive, which ties back into the first part, which is it's about being in the world and seeing people in the world. And so I think the world is most fun when the world is alive or has the illusion that it's alive, right? Don't get me wrong, there's like plenty of modern retail stuff that I enjoyed that they've added in. Things like delves. I've always enjoyed delves since they've added those in. Things like Warbound, or you know, making all of your reputations and stuff account wide, which is really nice. There's a lot of quality of life stuff they've added that's pretty nice. And some people just enjoy doing things like raiding or Mythic Plus or PvP, right? And that's fine. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are playing World of Warcraft because they truly do enjoy the world, right? That's what it's all about. That's why people have played this game for over 20 years, because they love the world. And that's why they started even playing World of Warcraft in the first place, was they enjoyed the World of Warcraft 3, right? And playing Warcraft 3, and then it was like, dude, we can go into this Warcraft world and explore it. And I feel like at times they've almost forgotten that. These are just some of the things I've been thinking about. And so when I think about why do I log into World of Warcraft, it pretty much just boils down to I like collecting stuff in retail WoW, and I like exploring, which I do in retail WoW and in classic WoW. And that's mainly it. Like, I don't care about doing these little events that are just like, go do a little fighting thing over here. And there's people that do. It's not for me. I really wish we had more holiday type events like they have the little mini holidays with the Sporgar, or they have like Boat Day. And I wish they actually put some more resources into those. Like, I wish those holidays almost lasted a little bit longer, and maybe they had better rewards and actually made people want to go do them. Or even having Dark Moon Fair-esque holidays where we have like a week of just something. It doesn't have to be the Dark Moon Fair, but just like maybe something that happens you know, every other week of the month, where it could just be anything, like some sort of merchant show up in a place, or something that revolves around exploration and collecting, right? And I think those are the types of things that would be really fun, because it hits those two categories I was just talking about, which is collecting and exploration. And I think if you really focus on those, I think a lot of people will start enjoying playing the game when there's nothing to do, because then it gives you something to do. It gives you a reason to go back out into the world, right? It's the same reason that when we had garrisons in Warlords of Draenor, it felt kind of boring, because nobody was going out into the world. You just sat in your garrison, and it defeated the whole premise of the game, right? So I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get at here is we just need more stuff that focuses on the world and the exploration of the world. And I mean, they already lean into collecting a lot, but I would say even just playing around with collecting, like they did with the mount collecting event, right? And I think there's so many different ways to do it. And right now, it just feels almost like a quantity over quality, right? They're just like, here's more stuff, and it's just kind of paper thin, like little events, and they're out in the world, but it's like, I don't know, I don't want to go over there. Like, you know what I mean? And there's just something about that just, it rubs me the wrong way. So let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I just wanted to make this little rant video because I was just thinking the other day, like, why am I logging in? Why don't I want to log in right now? The main reason I want to log in is just to go fly around and look at stuff. Like, that's really what it is. So let me know in the comments section. Thanks for listening to this little rant. If you want more videos, I'll put them up on the screen. We got pointless top 10 starting zone mobs was recent, and we also got a tier list of all the starting zones that I made as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay? See ya.